Okay, we're back now with part two. In part one of this instruction series, we downloaded, executed, and the install file, and we have now installed Microsoft SQL Server. Let's double check it and make sure that we have it. To that end, I'm going to go to my Start menu. I'm going to my Start menu, there we go, and you will either find it under the M for Microsoft, where I believe it probably is, Microsoft SQL Server. Sometimes you'll find it under the S for SQL Server. It kind of depends on what kind of mood your computer's in. So we have Microsoft Office 2016, Microsoft SQL Server 2016 is what we want. We're Microsoft Office, we're not concerned with. You will also see Microsoft SQL Server 2008. There are some files in here that you do have to have. That's the installation center. Was written in 2008, and so here is 2016. If we drop him down, we will see the configuration manager. In other words, this is the SQL Server material. Now, SQL Server per se is found over in our services, and I have a shortcut to services pinned to my quick access bar down here. But you can get that in Windows Administrative Tools, Services. Now let's go here and take a look at our services. And as we scroll down to the S's for SQL Server and find it, SQL Server, remember its name was SQL Express. There are other things that say SQL agent, browser. They show as disabled, and that's fine. The one that we're interested in, though, is SQL Server, SQL Express. It is running. It is said to start automatically. Now, that means that it's going to start every time your computer starts, period. And this is not necessarily a good thing on your personal computer. There's a joke about databases. How much of your computer resources does a database need? And the answer is all of them. So if I were to right-click this guy, let's see, let's double-click him. Okay, so double-click him. Notice we can start him, stop him, but the startup type is set to automatic. Okay, so how do we get here? We're in the services, and I'm looking at the SQL server named SQL Express, and it's the database. So this is the server. This is the big kahuna here. And for the same reason that you don't leave your car running in the driveway at night because it uses your resources, this thing is drinking our computer's resources. It's using the processor. It's using lots of memory. It's also using your battery. So we don't really want this thing running all the time. So I'm going to set this guy to manual. Then when I get done doing my database programming, well, I'm going to stop him right here. Start. Before I can work with my database, I have to start him. Now he starts. So now he's running. And I can stop and start him from this page. So notice he is running. Automatic, manual. Didn't click OK. So he's set to manual. I want him to be set to manual. Now, depending on how your Windows is set, he may stay running until you turn him off, or he may only run until you reboot your machine. So you might have to start him each time if you reboot the machine. But it's not much trouble to do that, and he really slows your machine down. Even a fast machine, the SQL Server is a really big, monstrously complicated program, and we just really don't want the darn thing running. Okay, I'm done with that. Now I have him running because I'm going to use him. Now, since that was so much fun downloading that where's my, okay. we can't do much with our server yet. We still have another file we have to download. And let's go get it. This is called the Server Management Studio. Now, SQL Server is installed, so we could connect to it and we could do database stuff with it. But this guy is the graphical user interface. So SQL Server itself doesn't have a interface like Access. So this guy right here will make our SQL Server behave a little bit like Access in that we will have a GUI, a graphical user interface. We're not going to use it much in this class because it's this class is called Programming with SQL. So we're going to use SQL programming, but we can go get this guy at this URL. And you're going to spend some more time downloading him. Let me go. By the way, I downloaded it while I was waiting there. And so this guy's pretty big. Let me put him in the notes. So the name of the file that you're going to download is this. SSMS, SQL Server Management Studio, SSMS setup-enu. And he has a monstrously large file, another one. So like I say, these guys are pretty big. The good thing about it is they uninstall fairly well when you're done. And they're good about keeping them up to date. So anyway, these are the latest ones, and we are going to download the 2017 version of this one because that's the latest Server Management Studio. So this is just the graphical user interface, but it will become important to us. Now, when you download yours, it should start installing automatically. Since I've downloaded mine and paused it, I'm going to start it now. And I'm going to say, yes, I want him to run. I'll click install. And if this looks like it's going to take a long time, I'm going to pause. He looks like he's running pretty quickly. I'm going to go ahead and pause him anyway. Pause the recording so that we don't have a long recording of just sitting here watching the screen run. Pausing the recording. That didn't take very long, but again, I find myself having to restart. So this is the second restart that was required. So I'm going to have to stop the recording again and restart. So ending the recording, we will have a version 3 here in a minute.